So my meeting today is with Marissa. Okay, so I got my confidentiality forms here. I just have to go over our business policy, confidentiality, when I will breach it. Okay, and I also need some papers for our genome and some other assessment tools as well. I'll get that out. Okay. And then I also should get okay. Just organize the room. Also got pens. Everything's good. She has enough chairs to sit. I have my confidentiality forms and sheets of papers. She's here. Hi, welcome to the Newcomer Center.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, Marissa. How are you today?
I'm a little bit all over the place actually. It was hard to get here. I know I took 3 buses to get here and one of them was late, so I'm a little late. Sorry about that.
It's completely okay. I completely get it. Please take a seat wherever you feel comfortable.
Maybe I'll sit here. Sometimes I get distracted by the windows and things.
Yeah, sure. Please get comfortable. So I'd just like to welcome you again to the Newcomer Center, and I really do appreciate you coming in today and taking the time to talk to me and trust me about the things you're going to be telling me today. I would like to start off by speaking to you about just a little bit about myself. So my name's Marissa, and I've been working at the Newcomer Center for about 2 years now, and I've earned a degree in social service work, and I've also achieved a diploma.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been doing a lot of schoolwork for a while now. So how are you? You said your travel was a bit overwhelming. What happened there?
Well, I mean, I had to figure out how to get here, and I've only been in the country for 6 months now, and still trying to figure everything out. I knew I needed to take 3 buses, but then one of them was late, so I don't know. I'm happy I made it here in time, but I'm a little bit late, so sorry about that.
I completely get it. When I first moved to Toronto, I had to take transit as well, and because I didn't have other transportation, I found it so difficult because sometimes it would come late and sometimes it would come early.
So confusing. I don't know how anyone gets anywhere on time. It's just so much traffic and the buses and oh my gosh, too many things going on.
Mm-hmm. So I would just like to start off with confidentiality to begin with, and tell you about some policies that we do hold in our agency. So our first policy is that we require a 24-hour business notice if you would like to reschedule or cancel an appointment. And to do that, you would have to either call the front desk, or you could put my extension in and you could speak to me directly about that, and I would be happy to cancel or reschedule any appointments.
Okay.
So next off is confidentiality, and this is extremely important in our agency as well as other agencies that are out there. So I would like to speak to you about what is being discussed in this meeting today, and further meetings will not be told to any other individuals. I will not disclose that information. I will keep it protected just between us. In the meetings, I will be taking notes down, and I will leave them in my filing cabinet, and I will have my executive director will come in sometimes and take a look at those notes. but they will not leave this office at any time, and I will only have access to them in this office.
Okay.
Any questions?
No.
Okay. And afterwards, I just wanted to speak to you about when I would have to breach confidentiality, and this is fairly important because you would like to know what it requires. So, the first one is subpoena by the court. So if you're in trouble with the law at any time, they might ask for my documents or for my written notes, basically what I take during the meetings, and I would have to hand those over for them to take a look at.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And next is child abuse. So if a child is being abused 16 and under, and if you're aware of them getting abused by another individual, or if you're abusing the child, I will have to report it to Children's Aid Society. Next off is elder abuse. So if you're aware of an elder getting abused in long-term care facilities, or you're abusing an elder in a long-term care facility, I will also have to report that.
Okay. You said long-term care facility.
Yes. So a long-term care facility is somewhere where older adults go for extra assistance, and it can be in a whole bunch of different things, but some of the examples can be bathing, or it could be going to the washroom, or being able to get fed by someone.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So next off is risk to yourself or risk to others. And that's basically if you are ever thinking of committing suicide, or if you have a plan to commit suicide and you make that clear to me, I will have to report that just to protect yourself, and I want to make sure that you're in good care.
Okay.
Next off is risk to others. So that's basically if you're ever wanting to harm another individual in a serious matter, I will also have to report that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And lastly, what I wanted to speak to you about is if you would want to transfer agencies, I would have to get your written consent that you are wanting to transfer.
Okay.
It's just a written document, and I would just need your signature.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So what I wanted to do was, currently you said you didn't have any questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we can start off by just letting the legal document, and it will be overwhelming at first, so you can take as much time as you want to read over it, and I'll just go get a bottle of water, and I'll come back and we can have a further discussion if you did come across any questions.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, take your time and I'll be back shortly.
Okay, thanks. Wow, this is a lot to read. Required 24 business hours notice for counseling or rescheduling appointments. Okay. This is a little confusing. The social worker may disclose your information with or without your consent in any circumstances in which it is legally or ethically compelled to do so, including the following. An order, subpoena, or summons is served by a court or legal authority requiring disclosure. I don't know what that means at all. This is a lot. It's kind of overwhelming.
you ready for me to come in, or would you like some more time?
You can come in.
So how was it overgoing everything? Did you come across any questions?
Yeah, it's pretty, I don't know, I found it pretty confusing. It's a little bit
All
I don't
over
know.
the place,
Yeah.
right?
I had one question actually. It was about the subpoena. It says an order of subpoena or summons is served by a court or legal authority requiring disclosure. I wasn't sure what exactly that means.
Okay, so that's basically when if you end up getting into a court situation, the court might come to our agency, the Newcomer Center, and ask for the documents that I have written down in our meetings. But I'm very cautious about what I write down because, as I said, I want to protect what you tell me, and I want to keep it between us. I want you to feel comfortable when you're disclosing information to me, so I don't write it all down on the case notes.
Okay. So if I was ever in like a legal situation, the notes that you take could be read over there in court out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll have them in the court.
Okay. Other than that, I think I understand everything. Do I just sign here?
Yeah. So you just print your name, your signature, as well as the date, which is June 12th today. So you have access to the confidentiality at all times, and if you ever need to bring it up at any time, feel free to. I will always have it in your file here, and if you have come across any questions at any moment, feel free to ask.
Okay.
I also wanted to mention what I'm writing down is also allowed for you to see. So if you have a question about me writing something, please feel free to ask because they're your notes as much as they're my notes.
Okay.
Could I just get the pen, please? Thank you. So I wanted to start off by speaking to you about what brings you into the Newcomer Center today.
Well, it's a lot of things actually. Like I said, like I'm just new to the country, so I've been here about 6 months, and I came from India. My husband was supposed to fly me out, and we were supposed to fly out together to Canada, and we have a little daughter together. She's 4, and we were supposed to start a whole new life here in Canada, and things just haven't gone as I expected them to be. Due to some complications, my husband had to stay back in India. So he's been there for 6 months now, and I've been here by myself, just me raising my daughter with my in-laws, and it's been a lot for me to deal with. I don't know where to begin.
It seems like you're very overwhelmed with everything that you've been experiencing.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's understandable because coming from one lifestyle to a completely different lifestyle, and when you have to think of a completely different plan when an unexpected situation happens, can be a lot to handle.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to happen this way. I mean, we planned this out for months. Me and my husband were like, he's gonna come get me. We're gonna fly out with our daughter, and we're just gonna settle in Canada, and everything's gonna go smoothly. And then, his work called him, and he had to stay back. And he's been gone for 6 months now, and I don't know when I'm gonna see him. So it's like I just worry all the time about when I'm gonna see him next, when he's gonna come back. Our daughter always asks me, where's Daddy? When is he coming? And I just don't even know what to tell her. It's so hard. It's just us and my in-laws, and we don't have the greatest relationship either. So it's been really hard.
Yeah, that can be really hard to deal with, especially when you're trying to figure out the best situation for your daughter, as well as when your husband comes down, you have to sort everything out, right?
Yeah, it's been really hard.
You said something about your relationship with your in-laws not being good. What is going on there? Let's explore that a little bit.
I don't know. I just feel like we don't get along as well as I thought we would when I came here. I thought they would just be a lot more supportive to me and help me adjust to Canada and just help me get settled. But they haven't really been doing anything that is helping me. They do look after my daughter sometimes when I need them to, but I don't feel like I can rely on them. I just don't think they're very supportive to me.
Do they provide guidance when you're needing it, or is it that you're more excluded towards them?
Um, I don't know, they don't communicate to me. I just feel like we don't communicate well to each other. Just like since I've been here, it's been 6 months of me being here with my daughter, and I don't know how anything works. I mean, I barely got here on time today in the appointment. I had to take 3 buses, and one was late, and I just don't even know where anything is. And since I've been here, they haven't asked me one time if I'm doing okay, or how are you feeling since you've been here. Just I feel like they don't care, and they've not once tried to help me or give me any guidance.
Let's just take a minute. You can have a sip of water. It seems like you're getting very overwhelmed with speaking about this constantly. So like you trying to find employment, you're seeing that as a struggle?
Yeah, because as soon as I got here, my in-laws wanted me to find a job and get settled right away, and I don't know how to do that. I was expecting a lot more guidance, I think, just from my in-laws, I thought my husband would be here to help me, and so because he's not here, I don't have that guidance.
Are your in-laws aware that you're having difficulties with adjusting to this new lifestyle?
I guess they can tell because I think I'm just quieter than I used to be, and I don't really talk to them as much. I think they can tell that there's something going on, but they don't really know what it is because they don't really ask me that. I just feel like they don't care sometimes.
It is completely normal for you to feel this way because many people, especially being an immigrant, is a struggle. And it's hard to constantly meet everyone's expectations when you are just trying to get comfortable with your new space, right?
Yeah, I just feel so much pressure coming from them. Even when they don't say it, I can feel it in the house. I just feel all this negative energy, and sometimes I just don't know how to fix it. I feel like they put so much pressure on me since I got here, and I don't know how to do what they want me to do. They don't offer help, and I feel like if I asked for them for help, they would just think that I'm weak or that I don't know how to do anything.
That can be very difficult. Something that I see, like a strength that I see from you, is that you're very caring. You really want to meet their expectations, but you just don't know how to. You've been trying, but it's just not working out for you. Maybe because you're not been provided with that guidance and that help.
I think so. I feel like if I had some guidance or even some friends, I don't have anyone to ask for help. Maybe I could do the things that they expected me to do, or even for myself. I didn't expect myself to be in this situation either. I feel like they think that I'm just not trying, and that's not true because I just don't have any help. That's why I came here today. I just thought, no one really knows how I'm feeling, and I need to tell someone. So I saw a poster, and I just decided to come.
We are here to guide you and help you through this transition and this process. Other areas like other community programs are also here to help you and help guide you as well. So some things that I want to speak to you about is that you told me that you're struggling with employment, and you could go to an employment center and have your resume looked at, your cover letter looked at, as well as your being prepared for an interview. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely need that help because I don't even know where to start for looking for a job here. I mean, back home in India, I had a good job and I have a master's degree in business, but I heard the rumors that coming to Canada, sometimes your degrees mean nothing and you can't really find a job in your field. So that was my biggest worry, and I thought that my husband, I thought he would be able to help me with that, but he's not even here, so I definitely need help with that.
A master's degree does take a lot of work, and that does take a lot of strength to get through, and it does show that you do care a lot about school and your future, which is a great thing to have.
Yeah. That's why it upsets me when I feel like people think I'm not trying or that I'm ungrateful to be here because I'm so happy to be here and I was so excited. We had this whole idea of what our life was going to be and nothing has worked out that way so far. So it's really upsetting to me. I just take it really hard and I just take it personally.
Yeah, that can be a lot to go through, and it does seem like you've been overwhelmed for a while and you've been looking for that guidance, but you haven't been provided with it. And through the meetings, we will slowly transition and help you transition and give you that guidance, right? So the employment center, it also has a daycare facility for your daughter, so your daughter can interact with other kids and you can be able to build upon your skills.
What is that you're drawing?
This is called an eco map. So I've been just drawing relationships that you've been having difficulties with and things that you have been trying to build upon but been also having difficulties with. It's known as an assessment tool. And what I've written down here is you have a really good relationship with your daughter. You give energy to her, she gives energy back to you.
Definitely.
And then you also have a relationship with your husband that is really strong and you give energy to him and he also gives energy to you. And then you also have difficulties with finding a job, which is taking energy away from you and it feels like it's kind of maybe taking a toll on you.
Yeah.
And then you also have you have a relationship with your in-laws, but you're facing a little bit of obstacles and conflict with them. As well as with India, you have a really strong relationship with India. It seems like you adjusted there really well and you were able to have like an exciting time while you were living there.
Yeah. I was happy there and I thought I would be happy here too, but it's just I haven't gotten there yet. So.
It sure does take time to adjust to, and you also have to remember that there is people around here to help you, such as me, the community resources that I'm gonna speak to you about in the employment center.
Okay.
So you spoke to me about not having a social circle. How has that been for you? Has it been difficult?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any friends really here. Sometimes the only person I talk to in my day is like my daughter or my husband on the phone. And we talk every day, but it's like I feel like I need friends of my own and I don't have that. And I don't even know how to make them. Where would I meet people to, socialize with? I mean, I take my daughter on walks sometimes and she sees kids playing at the park, so we go there and sometimes she finds kids to play with, but it's like I don't know. Sometimes I see the other moms there, and they just seem like so well off, and they have everything together that I don't even want to approach them, and I don't know how to approach them for that. So I just feel like really alone that I don't have anyone to talk to.
Well, we can start off. I can start giving you ideas like on how you can take that approach and how that will help you to build your social circle. But feeling alone when you've just recently came to India can be really difficult. And you have to remember that you do seem like an individual that is very strong and very approachable. But as soon as we started this meeting, you were so excited and you were so happy. And you were so open to shaking my hand as well as telling me your name. You were really open to all of those things.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes I put in the effort, but then other times I just get like too overwhelmed and I don't know where to start.
Mhm. Well, we can start off by telling you some steps right now. So I actually did come up with a sheet today just to help you, so you can also take it home. This is about community resources. So some of them do have a cost and some of them do not. I didn't know your preference, so I included all. And these community resources are mostly held at the city of Brampton, and they are allowed to go with your daughter. You're allowed to go by yourself for self-reflective purposes, and you can also drop your child off at child daycare and go upon your day.
Okay. That'll be really good actually, because I always worry about if my daughter's, taken care of, that I forget to do any of the things I need to do. So if I could go somewhere that could help me and take care of her at the same time, I think that would help me a lot.
Yeah, for sure, which is understandable because I'm sure you do care about your daughter a lot, and that's your main priority.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes you even forget to take care of yourself, right?
Yeah, all the time. I just feel like sometimes I'm just so overwhelmed with all these things I'm thinking about that, like, I don't even know what to do first. Like, I need to find a job, I need to find childcare, I need to find social circle, there's all these things that are just weighing on me constantly that I don't, sometimes I just forget about myself. Sometimes I just feel like I don't take enough care of myself.
Well, these community programs will help with most of that. They will help with self care, building a social circle, and maybe taking care of your child when she needs it. So I would just like to start off by saying can attend this one over here. That's about just basically doing self care and being able to talk to other individuals about what they're facing. And then you can also take your child to this program down here. That's about just building a relationship with your daughter, but as well as she can build relationships with other children.
Yeah, I think she would really like that. She always has a good time when I take her to the park, so I think if she met more kids her age, she would be happier here as well. Because I know she feels it too. She knows that, her mom's not happy, I'm not happy because her dad's not here. As long as I can focus on making her happy, then I know I can focus on myself.
Have you spoken to her about what has been going on currently?
No, not really. I mean, she asks me about her dad every day, so sometimes I just have to lie to her because I don't want to make her too upset. But I think she can tell that there's some tension because I feel like I'm not the same as I was with her. I feel like I used to be a lot more just carefree and I just used to laugh more and enjoy more with her. But now, I mean, I do still play with her and I take the time to spend time with her, take her out for walks into the park. But I think she can tell something's off, but she doesn't really understand what it is.
It can be hard. How old did you say your daughter was again?
She's 4.
Yeah, and she's at such a young age, so she's still kind of learning all those new things about life, right?
Yeah.
Maybe taking a step-by-step approach will be helpful.
I think so. I think I just need to figure out what I need to do first because right now I'm just so overwhelmed with all of the things I need to do. I don't know where to begin.
Well, since you're being overwhelmed, I would highly recommend the self-care program where you would just go by yourself and speak to other individuals and maybe focus on yourself a little bit. I remember when I first moved here, actually, I had troubles with transit. I had troubles with communicating with people. I would feel like everyone doesn't want to speak to me. So I just wanted to go back to my hometown and not even come back here.
Yeah.
Someone suggested this program to me, and once I went, I felt so much more open and excited, and people started talking to me. It was a really great experience.
That's good. I think that if I could just learn to get out of my comfort zone a little bit and just learn how to socialize with other people, and maybe make friends soon, that I could everything will just come easier to me.
Yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of time to adjust to, and you will have some setbacks, but then slowly those setbacks will stop coming, and
I hope so, yeah.
it'll be a good improvement.
self-care, what does that mean?
Self-care is basically when you're caring for yourself, you're taking the time out of the day to help yourself. So, do you write?
No, not really.
So, what I would recommend is just taking a journal or just sheets of papers and writing down how you're feeling. So, maybe what you could focus on is what you accomplished that day, something you were proud about yourself for, and maybe an obstacle that you faced, and maybe write about those things.
That sounds like a good idea, actually.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like something I could do just like on my own time. I feel like just writing down my thoughts would be a great help because sometimes there's just so much going on that I get stuck and I don't know how to get out of it. So I feel like if I just let everything out in writing, maybe that would help me.
You can also bring the journal here, and we can also speak about the journal further and see what you've written down and what you feel comfortable sharing with me. We can discuss it more in depth.
Okay. Sounds good.
So next off, I wanted to also speak about something called grounding techniques. You speak about that, you speak like you get overwhelmed easily and you get stressed.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. I can't think of a time in the last 6 months where I haven't been stressed. It's just been so much to deal with. And I'm not someone who's really good with change, especially when I'm faced with it all alone and I don't have my husband here.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely say that trust.
Mm-hmm. Not having the person that you rely on is very difficult, especially when it was unexpectedly and he's not even here. It can be very hard.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. So, some grounding techniques that we can practice here today, because you do seem very tense and very upset about what you're going through. Just for you to relax, I would like you to breathe in and then breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. How does that make you feel?
makes me feel a lot better actually. Just makes me feel more calm. I feel like I can think a little bit clearer, and I just feel like my mind is not all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Let's just do it again one more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in again. Breathe out.
Wow, that made a big difference. I didn't know just sitting down to breathe could be so helpful.
Mm-hmm. You coming to counseling is also an excellent strength that you have. You're taking the time out for yourself and noticing that you need help. Seeking counseling is a big step, and it's an excellent step to take, and I hope that it's gonna benefit you.
I hope so. I mean, just convincing myself to come here today was so hard for me because I just felt like I don't really have anyone else to turn to. That when I saw that advertisement, I said, why not? I have nothing else going for me right now, and I need all the help that I can get. And I was just hoping that maybe someone here could help me. So I just gave it a go.
The grounding techniques you can also do at home as well. If you're getting overwhelmed from a situation, just step aside and just breathe in and breathe out. Just a couple of times, and you can just detach yourself from the situation and then go back into the situation and see if that makes you feel better.
Okay, I think that's something I could do every day actually to help.
Okay, so now just to summarize about what we spoke about today. I know it's your first meeting with me, and I know it's a lot to handle, especially going from present to past situations, and it can get very stressful. So I just wanted to do another assessment tool, and I just wanted to know if you would like to draw it or if you would like me to draw it.
Maybe you could start and we could do it together after. after?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to do a legend on this side over here. And that's just basically the symbols that I'm going to be using today. So it's going to be a circle for girls and a square for guys. And it's going to be a line straight for good relationship. And it's going to be a squiggly line for a rocky relationship. And we're gonna just describe the relationships that you're having today, okay? So you're gonna be right here. This is gonna be you, and I'm just gonna go Mabry. And then we're gonna put your husband. So it's gonna be a square. And then we're gonna do your child as well. So your daughter, and she's 4.
Yeah, she's 4.
And then we're gonna do your in-laws. So would you like to draw them for me?
Okay.
So you can go as big or small as you want.
So, right here, right?
You could go a circle over here.
Okay.
And then just do, what's the relationship with her husband? Are you aware of it?
They're pretty close. I would say they're pretty close.
Okay, so that's going to be a good relationship. So you can square, yeah. And then you can connect it to your husband. Is their relationship good, or is it a rocky relationship?
Oh, they have a really strong relationship.
Does your husband have any siblings?
No.
No? Okay, and now we're going to move on to your side of the family. So we can go from your parents. So are your parents nearby, or are they from another hometown?
They're back in India, actually.
Oh, that must be difficult.
Yeah, it's been really hard. I mean, I talk to them every day as well. So we do remain in touch, but they can tell that I'm not happy here. So they always want me to come back. They want to even drop everything there and come help me. But I try to just keep my spirits up because I know I don't want to worry them more. So I just...
Yeah, that can be really hard, especially when they're constantly worrying about you, right? That's really difficult.
It's hard. I know it's hard on them, but it's hard for me to see them like that. So
Yeah,
I don't want to worry them.
So we can draw them, yeah, right there. So, and your mom's close with your dad, and your dad's close with your mom?
Yeah, they have a good relationship.
Do you have any siblings at all?
Yeah, I have a brother and a sister.
That's good. So we're just going to draw them on there as well. So you can draw them down. And you said you have a strong relationship with your mom and your dad, right?
Yeah.
What about with your siblings? How's that?
Yeah, we get along pretty well as well. I mean, I've always gotten along with my siblings, but I haven't talked to them recently since I've been here, just because they live in America, so it's kind of hard for me to talk to them. And I know they've got their own lives going on, so I don't want to bother them. But we do get along pretty well. We always have.
So how would you say that's relationship? A bit disconnected or a good relationship?
It's good. I would say it's good, but a little distant.
Yeah. So let's just draw a line with dots as well.
Here?
Right to you. And also your brother is the same. You've lost communication with him a little bit?
A little bit since I've been here.
Yeah. Okay, and I wanted to speak about your daughter a little bit. I just wanted to explore that with you a little bit. How's your relationship with her?
We're really close. She's sometimes the only thing that gets me through my days. She's always so happy, and she's always so cheerful that sometimes I feel like guilty for being so stressed all the time and just worrying constantly about her and about everything else. But she always kind of helps take me to that happy place when I need to be there.
That's good. It's really good to have a strong relationship with your daughter. Have you thought about taking a step by step approach with her and just slowly telling her about what has been going on?
I just feel like she's too young to really understand the full, situation. I mean, she does ask about her dad, so sometimes I have to just play it by ear and tell her what she wants to hear. But I just feel like she's too young to know about everything.
Mhm. That can be difficult, especially when you don't know what to say or how to say it, because that might trigger something for her as well, right?
Yeah, the last thing I would want is for her to find out that she might not see her dad for another 6 months. God forbid that happened, but I mean, it would be hard enough for me to deal with that news. I would not want to tell my daughter about it.
That would be really difficult. Let's just draw. So you explained that you have a good relationship with her, right?
Mm-hmm.
So would you feel comfortable drawing a line to you with her?
Yeah.
And now I wanted to speak about how, I wanted to explore if you felt comfortable with feeling a burden. You use the word burden a lot. And I wanted to ask you, what brings that up? Why do you feel like a burden?
I just feel like I'm putting pressure on. I just feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself because everyone expects so much of me, and I just feel like I'm not doing what my in-laws wanted for me. I feel like I'm letting my husband down because I haven't found a job. I feel like I'm letting myself down because I haven't found childcare or even friends. I just feel like I'm a burden at this point because, like I said, my in-laws and I, we don't really communicate very well. So I feel like I'm just a burden on them. It's just another person for them to look after, or
I want you to remember that being a burden can be a lot to handle, but you've been going through a lot as well, and it can be a lot to put on your shoulders to handle all of the stress. So just to remember, if you do speak to other individuals, it could relieve your stress as well, and maybe they could give you some helpful suggestions on how you could improve.
Okay.
You explained that your in-laws have lived here for many years, or have they been just recently here?
They've been here for a while. I think they've been here for almost 10 years. So they seem to just have everything figured out. They know where to go. They know how to get from point A to point B. They have a good relationship with people in their community. They have friends they can call over. I just feel like they haven't once asked me since I've been here, how I'm doing, or if I need any help, or they haven't suggested anything to me. They kind of just put all these expectations on me, and I don't know. I just feel like they haven't been helpful. So
Did they move from India as well?
they did, but they've been here for a while, so they're pretty much established here. They have kids that their kids are grown up and everything. So
Something I would suggest is maybe asking them what they did to come here to adjust. What methods did they use? And maybe that could bring you guys a little bit closer.
maybe, yeah. I feel like they haven't even come to me with any advice. I feel like if they told me something that it would be useful, but they haven't told me anything. We barely communicate. So I don't even know how to ask them for advice at this point.
That can be hard, especially when you don't have that strong communication.
Yeah.
Maybe taking the step by step approach again.
So how would I start to ask for help from them?
You could just bring up the fact that you've been facing some difficulties, and if they had something to recommend, you would really appreciate it because you've been dealing with a lot of hardships.
Okay. I don't know if they're open to me asking, but I feel like I need their help. That I don't have any other choice. That I just need to ask them for help at this point because I can't do it alone.
You've been going through a lot. You've been going through dealing with the transition with your husband and dealing with your in laws and then dealing with your daughter. and making sure that she's okay. And I would like to just explain the step-by-step approach to you. So, which situation do you think is the most important right now?
I think my husband and I's relationship is the most important because I feel like if we were able to just work on our relationship and I was able to be more honest with him, then everything else would just flow from that.
So to start off, we can deal with the step by step. We can deal with your husband's situation. So you can contact him, or we can discuss some methods to help you with that. So then, what would be the next step in that?
I think my relationship with my daughter.
Okay.
I feel like once me and my husband are settled, I could focus on her a little bit more and just give her the time she needs.
Mm-hmm. And then afterwards?
I think my in-laws then, because
Okay.
that's something I need to address too.
Okay. So we will take this slowly. We won't do all the steps right now. So in further meetings, we'll discuss methods to help you with each transition. So in the next meeting, we'll discuss your daughter, and then in the meeting after that, if that issue is solved, we'll discuss your in-laws. So currently, I want to discuss next steps with your husband. Okay, and then when you come next meeting, we will also we'll debrief about what you did on the next steps, and then we'll debrief this meeting, and then we'll look at what we can do next.
Okay.
Okay, so next steps with your husband. What do you think those next steps could be?
I think I just need to be more honest with him about how I'm really feeling because he doesn't really know that I'm going through such a hard time right now. So I feel like if I was able to tell him that, then it would just help our relationship more.
Mm-hmm. And is that what you only feel like you need to do currently with your husband, or is there more steps?
I think that's the main thing, just because I just feel like there's so much that I'm not telling him.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like once I just let everything out, we could just be so much more open with each other.
That makes a lot of sense, and I feel like if you do get overwhelmed with trying to encounter that situation, feel free to call a helpline. Have you heard about that before?
I've heard about them. I don't really know what they are.
Yeah, so I came up with the sheet I handed you before with the community resources. We'll just go over that again, and we'll also speak about the helpline.
Okay.
So I did speak to you about some community resources, and just to summarize that again, we can talk about them quickly over again. So the first one, like as I told you, some of them have a cost and some of them don't, as listed here. So the one for self-care has no cost. The one with your child has a $20 cost, and then childcare has a cost as well and goes by certain timings.
Okay.
So the schedule is here as well, and the numbers to contact them to register and stuff. And then the helpline is really important and something that I really want you to take into consideration. That's if you are feeling overwhelmed, anxious, nervous, or you're confused, or you just need guidance, or you just need to speak to someone, you can call the helpline at any time. It's 24 hours, and they help immigrants.
So, you said I could call them anytime.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I'm worried about is I live with my in-laws, so I don't want them to overhear a conversation that I would be having. Like that's private, so how would I just kind of keep it from them?
Okay, so something I would recommend is that since the helpline is anonymous, you can just hang up. They will not call you back. They will not try to contact you in any way. The communication will end there. However, if you are still on the phone and they see you talking to someone and they ask you who it is, you could just say it's simply just an immigration center, or you're trying to find a job to apply to, you're just gathering information about a certain organization. Any of those things would work because the helpline will not have contact with you afterwards.
Oh, that's good to know.
Mm-hmm. It's completely anonymous.
Okay, that's good.
Did you have any questions about the community resources?
No, not really. I mean, all their information is here. So,
Mhm.
and you said one of them was close by, the employment agency, right?
Yes, the employment center is just right, it's 5 minutes away, and you just have to book an appointment with them. And you can bring your daughter there as well. There's a daycare facility, and you can also set up your resume, set up your cover letter, and set up an interview process. So they will do a mock interview with you, which could prepare you.
Okay, that's good. And I'll definitely look into some of these, and I'll give them a call, or maybe I'll drop by, and hopefully that goes well.
Yeah, for sure. So would you like to book another appointment, or would you like to hold off and give me a call back with that?
I think I could book another one.
Okay. What time and day would you prefer?
Maybe the same as today.
Okay, sounds good. We can also, would you like to take any look at my notes or speak about the confidentiality?
Not right now. I think I looked them over pretty well, and
Okay.
maybe in the future, if I wanted to look at them, I could.
Yeah, for sure. They'll always be in your file, and you can always just feel free to ask.
Okay. Maybe next time I come, we could talk about how my conversation went with my husband. I could tell you if that went okay.
Yeah.
Or you could help me with that.
Yeah, and you can also bring your journal in and what you're going to use for self-reflecting, and you can always speak about that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. This has been helpful, actually, very helpful.
Yeah, remember your grounding techniques to breathe in and breathe out when you're getting overwhelmed, and we'll also discuss more grounding techniques that might benefit you in the further future.
Okay.
Thank you for coming to the Newcomer Center today, and I really appreciate you taking the time to meet with me, and I do hope that we will have many more meetings together.
Thank you. It was really helpful to come here today. I actually didn't know what I would expect, but it's been really helpful, and I'm glad I came.
Yeah, I'm glad you got out of your comfort zone, and that shows a lot what you're willing to do for yourself and your family.